a level 1 out of 5 threat. So it's not an overall great threat for severe weather, but there will be the possibility of a couple strong thunderstorms. Damaging wind looks to be the primary threat. Along with it, we may have some hail. The tornado threat, it's not 0, but it's not much higher than that. But because, again, we're looking at a timing between 12 midnight and 7 a.m., early Friday morning, it's something we'll want to keep our eye on. So here's a look at our outlook for tomorrow. This will be late Thursday into Friday. Thursday afternoon, more severe weather here out west. But as we get into the very early morning hours of Friday here, we'll have that threat for a stray strong thunderstorm. A lot of us highlighted in that level 1 out of 5 threat for now. As far as what's going on at the moment, things are pretty quiet. We'll stay quiet through the overnight. The severe weather for this evening is to our west through Missouri. In fact, Kansas City getting quite a bit of lightning at this hour, along with hail. Some intense hailstorms with reports of hail up to the size of softballs right now in Kansas City, Missouri. And we've had a very intense tornado in eastern Kansas as well. We'll continue to track this and, of course, give you the timing on when we will start to see some of those storms move into our neck of the woods. That coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Katie, thank you. Continuing coverage now on the search for Riley Strain. The University of Missouri student walked out of a downtown bar on Friday night and has not been seen since.
Well, Strain's family is here in Nashville working to help police try to find him. Fox 17 News has confirmed the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission is investigating whether any bars overserve Strain.
And Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino now has uncovered more security video of Strain after he left Luke Bryan's Honky Tonk.
We're working to confirm Riley Strain's exact path that night. We know he left Luke Bryan's bar at about 9:40. I then found new surveillance video today that confirms he crossed the street here and made his way up 3rd Avenue.
His disappearance gripping the nation. Riley's father telling me his son got separated from his friends while getting kicked out of Luke Bryan's bar.
He was put out of the bar by himself, and there was a time that went by that his friend wasn't able to get out. We believe they were taking care of their bar tab or whatnot. By the time they got outside, he just wasn't there any longer.
Luke Bryan posting, "Y'all, this is scary," praying for his safe return. Luke's 32 Bridge Bar hasn't responded to our request to share their surveillance video of Riley with the public. They did give it to police, but Riley's family tells me they haven't seen it from detectives either.
They're not really telling us a lot. You know, if they have more, they're keeping it tight-lipped right now.
The Old Red Bar across from Luke Bryan's also confirming they have video of Riley crossing the street and are only sharing it with investigators. This security video from the Escape Game Room on 3rd Ave shows what appears to be Riley walking by. You can then see him running onto Church Street and then slamming into a pole in this parking lot. Another video then shows Riley stumbling up 1st Avenue towards Gay Street near the river, holding his head. His phone last pinged near Public Square Park at 9:58, according to his family. They tell me detectives do have more video showing Riley near the James Robertson Parkway Bridge, but then that's it. There's no trace of Riley after that.
There's not been any activity on his banking accounts.
Riley's parents tell me they believe he could have been drugged. Questions are also surfacing about what responsibility the bars may have in all this. The TABC tells Fox 17 News there are no specific laws governing businesses escorting out intoxicated patrons or giving them assistance in getting home. But it is against state law to serve alcohol to someone who is already visibly intoxicated. The TABC is investigating whether that happened to Riley.
And Riley's family tells me the United Cajun Navy is on standby, ready again to help search the river as soon as investigators give them a better idea of where exactly to search along the waterline at this point. I'm Kelly Avellino for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, a GoFundMe page has now raised more than $22,000 to help Riley Strain's family with costs related to his search.
We want to know what you think. Do you worry about your safety when you're downtown on Lower Broadway? 602 people have weighed in, and 42%, which is the largest in this poll, say yes, we do worry about our safety. 25% say no, and 32.4% say they don't even go. This poll is live right now. If you'd like to cast your vote, scan the QR code on the right-hand side of your screen. It'll take you to our X page. Our handle is @FoxNashville, and we will update these results for you later in the newscast. And coming up tonight at 9:30, I go one-on-one with a retired FBI agent who makes his home here in Middle Tennessee to get his thoughts on the disappearance and the search for Riley Strain.
Well, more than 2 weeks and still no sign of Sebastian Rogers. The 15-year-old autistic boy disappeared February 26th, last seen in the Shackle Island community of Sumner County. Tonight, the TBI decided to re-release these photographs. Take a good look at your screen here. Agents don't want you to forget that they are still actively working to bring him home. To see all of our previous reporting on the Rogers case, go to fox17.com and search Sebastian.
In Operation Crime and Justice, Metro Police are now looking for a man accused of preying on intoxicated people at the clubs downtown. Take a good look. Joshua Ray Cloyd is his name. He's wanted right now on 9 outstanding theft warrants. Metro Police say that he steals phones, wallets, and credit cards from folks downtown. Now, officers think there may be more victims than they even know about. And if you think Cloyd stole from you, pick up the phone and call Metro Police.
Now to Operation Crime and Justice. Surveillance video showing thieves breaking into car dealerships and driving the showroom vehicles right off the lot. Investigators think a rash of crimes in Tennessee and Alabama are connected, and now they're working together to track down leads, hoping to bust a car dealership crime ring.
In Mobile, Alabama, watch as 3 suspects dressed in dark clothing, gloves, and face coverings emerge from the bushes and head right for this dealership garage, making off with several stolen cars.
I would suspect they'll probably equip them with counterfeit VIN plates and sell them. Yeah. That'd be my guess. Yeah. This sort of thing happens all over the U.S., and they were able to ping the GPS on one vehicle. It was northbound on 65, so you know we're fairly certain they left the state pretty quickly.
Investigators say one of the vehicles got a flat tire and the suspects ditched it in Birmingham, 17 miles from the Alabama line in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Police are convinced the same group of guys hit up this dealership using a carefully calculated strategy.
And here they come in and roughly about 1 a.m., busted out windows and left the property, and then come back later on and went into the dealership and found the lock boxes, pried them open, and was gone with our vehicles at 3 o'clock in the morning. So they're doing it anywhere roughly from midnight to dawn, anywhere from 12 to 5 a.m. Most everybody's been being hit.
Surveillance video capturing the suspects breaking into the office and stealing dealer license plates. The trio caught on nearby gas station surveillance video fueling up. The gas station catching their faces inside the store.
Really follow leads. That's my big thing. Anybody calls in with a lead, I follow up. I've had a few people call me from the Nashville area, say that they've seen the Corvette up in that area.
Lawrenceburg police say that they are actively following up on all those Nashville sightings. OnStar managed to ping one of the vehicles for a while, but believe the suspects eventually disabled that tracking system.
Still ahead on Fox 17 News at 9, complaints about trash like this from a North Nashville homeless camp. Why people who live nearby feel like their complaints are
$4 customer cash, or choose APR financing as low as 2.25%, or get a great low lease on Tundra.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
We have some new information tonight on a deadly car crash last night in Williamson County. It happened along a busy Highway 96, which is here to give you a frame of reference. This is downtown Franklin, which of course a lot of folks are familiar with. Here's 96. The crash actually happened west of town. This red dot here marks a spot where it happened. For further reference, it's pretty close to the West Haven neighborhood, if you know where that is. Now, Franklin police say 58-year-old Kimberly Wallace from Dickson was killed. Here's a picture from the scene. They say that she sideswiped a dump truck and then hit a Honda Accord head on. The driver of the Honda is being treated at Vanderbilt. The dump truck driver was not hurt. No word yet on what caused this crash.
You got people walking to their jobs up and down here, and they got to walk through this trash field.
Tonight, in the high cost of homelessness, some North Nashville residents are sounding off about the flow of trash from a nearby homeless camp. It's an issue Fox 17 News started tracking months ago. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker talking with neighbors today who say their complaints are falling on deaf ears.
I spoke with a nearby homeowner earlier today, Brian Barbary, who drives up and down Doverside Drive several times a day. But every time he leaves his house or heads home, he's reminded of all of the junk his entire way in. You can see some of that here on the ground. The trash here is scattered about half a mile up.
It's just trash everywhere. You got a guy living in a tent right there.
Brian Barbary spends his mornings cleaning up his community alongside some of his neighbors. But as the months go on, he feels his efforts go unnoticed.
It's defeating the purpose because the more we pick up, the more they put down. I pick up at least 2 bags of trash either every other day or at least 3 times a week. I picked up trash this morning, 2 bags. And now the area where I picked the trash up, there's more trash.
From shopping carts to homeless encampments and junk, Barbary says it's an eyesore to the neighborhood. So much so that he's considered moving.
Yeah, Walmart comes and picks up their carts at least once or twice a week, but when they pick them up, they bring them right back.
It's an ongoing issue for this community. However, nothing seems to change. We last spoke with Barbary at the start of January, but since then, he says his calls to city council go unanswered, and he never gets past leaving a voicemail.
Because you can't even get them on the phone to even voice your frustration. So that lets me know they're not really trying to hear what the community is saying.
And Fox 17 News has had a similar experience. You can see here we reached out to council member Jennifer Gamble over 2 months ago. We asked if she's aware of what's going on in her district and if there is something that will be done about the ongoing trash issues and homeless encampments. However, we did not hear back. We reached out again today with the same questions, but again, we failed to get a response. We just want to give you guys another look at some of the trash here. It goes all the way back into the woods. Everything from drinks to beer cans or beer bottles are out here. Now we are going to continue to stay on this story. We've covered it for a couple of months. We'll let you guys know if anything changes. For now, in Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Our Code Red alert is going to be for early Friday morning, and this unfortunately is going to be an overnight event that we're talking about here, mainly between the hours of midnight through 7 a.m. on Friday. Heavy rain does look likely, still about 1 to 2 inches, but we're going to add on top of that a couple storms that could produce wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Our tornado threat again isn't 0, but it's not much higher than that. And because we're talking about an overnight event, we want to make sure that everyone is staying aware for the overnight. So here's a rough estimate on timing on when I'm thinking these storms will be moving through. Midnight to 4 a.m. for those in purple, including Clarksville. In Nashville, between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., probably looking at a 3-4 a.m. time frame here in Nashville. 3 to 7 for folks closer toward the Cumberland Plateau. Again, this is for very early Friday morning, so just over 24 hours from now. Thursday, temperatures will be quite warm. In fact, ahead of all this, looking for a pretty nice day tomorrow with a partly cloudy sky, winds picking up as well. That'll help push these numbers close to 80 degrees for the afternoon. The setup here starting Thursday morning, you can see showers and storms to the north and west of us. The main source of energy will be spinning through Missouri as we head through Thursday night. But by 8 p.m., you can see those showers and storms still well west of Middle Tennessee. It won't be until the overnight. This is about 3 a.m. that we're expecting that line to push through. And throughout Thursday afternoon, the main event of this severe weather potential outbreak will be well west of us. We're on the tail edge of it. So as these storms continue through the overnight, we're going to need a lot of dynamics, a lot of, if you will, oomph. I love using that word, technical word, oomph, to get these storms to continue to usher in strong wind gusts. So again, overnight events are tricky, but we are notorious for them, unfortunately, here in Tennessee. I still think we're on, again, the lower side of the overall severe weather threat for tomorrow. But because of the timing, that's really going to be the problem for us here. This should all clear as we head towards mid-afternoon, and then we're left with things drying out as we head into the weekend. We're going to cool down, too, heading into Saturday and Sunday. A little closer here, you can see that we are dry through Thursday morning. Can't rule out a stray shower or two throughout the afternoon, but generally looking at quiet weather. That'll change once we get into the midnight hour here. So just outside of Middle Tennessee at midnight. This is at 3 a.m. approaching Nashville at this point here. This would be the line that would bring us some gusty winds, some pretty heavy rain, and probably some decent lightning too. So it might be some noisy storms waking me up early Friday. 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, it is starting to move out of the plateau. We're left with some scattered showers as we head through the afternoon on Friday, but generally as you're waking up and heading out the door, severe weather threat should be coming to an end by that point. We'll talk more about how much rain we could see in the rain gauge coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
I'm Janae Bowens in Washington with a look at when kids should be tried as adults.
And thinking like an investigator, Fox 17 News going one-on-one with a retired FBI agent getting his insights on the Riley.
A new report shows that huge areas of the country could soon essentially be blacked out. That's because of an overuse of
event. Get in and get away now before these deals are gone. Lease an Elantra for $179 a month or get 4.49% APR or $1,000 bonus cash. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
In Operation Crime and Justice, the debate over whether a Missouri teenager accused of repeatedly smashing a teenage girl's head into the street, the concrete there, should be tried as an adult.
Fox 17 News' Janae Bowens has an in-depth look at the growing issue of juvenile crime. And by the way, you can vote on this issue by scanning the QR code that will appear here shortly on your screen.
This video of teens fighting near St. Louis, Missouri has now gone viral. One girl is seen punching and slamming another girl's head on a concrete road. We're not showing the entire incident due to the graphic and disturbing nature. The victim is currently in the hospital in critical condition. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey is calling for the 15-year-old suspect to be charged and tried as an adult. Democratic congressional candidate and St. Louis County prosecutor Wesley Bell says the incident is heartbreaking, but it's a juvenile court matter. Kids and teens committing violent crimes is becoming a bigger issue across the nation, especially in cities like D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, and New York City. In Las Vegas, 2 teens are accused of running down and killing a 64-year-old bicyclist. They're being tried as adults and face multiple charges, including murder. It appears 18-year-old Jesus Ayala was unusually calm after his arrest.
Think I'm gonna come out on the news? You might.
Ayala was also heard telling the officer that he would just get a slap on the wrist.
Juveniles who are encouraged to commit crime by fellow gangbangers, fellow criminals, knowing that juveniles are going to receive lesser punishment, lesser sentences. We've got to punish aberrant behavior.
But many agree when it comes to kids and teens being tried as adults, a lot of factors must be considered.
Jail or certifying a juvenile as an adult does not act as a deterrent for a juvenile who, 1, doesn't know the law, and then 2, even if they do know the law, are incapable of understanding its impact on the rest of their life.
Former federal prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Jorge Vela says kids aren't mature, but there are many instances where juveniles are tried as adults, especially if they are a threat to society. In Washington, I'm Janae Bowens.
During that story, we had a QR code posting up to this poll asking the question, do you think teenagers who commit felonies should be charged as adults? 829 votes came in on the question. 86.5% say yes, 13.5% say no.
Just ahead on Fox 17 News at 9, understanding the case. Fox 17 News sitting down with a retired FBI agent who lives locally to talk about what we know about the disappearance of and search for Riley Strain.
And the Doors looking to chart their own course in the SEC tournament, what the black and gold are up against.
Get a rate based on you with DriveWise and the Allstate app. This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture.
Continuing coverage now on the search for Riley Strain. The longer he is missing, the more likely this case has a negative outcome. Joining me now to talk about missing persons investigation is retired FBI Special Agent Scott Augenbaum. And Scott, I can tell by your background you're not in Middle Tennessee, and I appreciate you taking some time for us while you're on vacation. Now, often you hear the first 48 hours are critical in a murder investigation. Is there a similar adage in law enforcement in terms of missing persons cases like this?
Yeah, this has me a little confused because let's just talk about the circumstances here. We have the young man. He walks out of the bar. He's with his friends. Obviously, he's intoxicated. I watched the videos. You see him. He walks. He falls. He's holding on to the wall. This does not appear to be your typical missing persons case.
You know, the family is certainly concerned. They know he was inebriated. I speculated last evening on the news that he may have damaged his head because of the way he fell or appeared to fall into a piece of concrete. He's unstable on his feet, and gosh, you're afraid that he could have just fallen over, have cracked his skull, and maybe lying somewhere waiting for help, or worse.
Well, if you're falling over and you crack your skull and you're in that area, someone is going to find you. Okay, I have no doubt that law enforcement's doing a grid search. There's posters up. People are going to see a 6'5", 6'7" man. I have concerns. There's a river very close by. In the condition that he's in, I just don't even know what to think. We always hold out. There's always hope in these situations, but I don't like this.
No, I don't either. How about the technology? They used cell phone technology to pinpoint him to a certain location. Then that goes dead. Where does law enforcement go when that happens?
That's tricky. And just remember, there's video cameras everywhere. So, you know, we have video camera surveillance, we have telephone surveillance because every time it pings, and now also is someone trying to use his ATM cards or any of his credit cards. All these things are being put into the investigation. That's what's concerning about this. It's one thing if you go missing in the woods, but missing in downtown Nashville?
Scott, I've got grown kids. You probably do as well. Even when you're talking about grown people and they're heading to a city they're unfamiliar with for a big celebration, in this case, a fraternity formal, great care is needed everywhere.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter. I'm down here on the beach in spring break with a bunch of young people. I'm like, there's too much drinking going on as it is. But if you're going to be in that situation, you got to have the buddy system. We hear about people being overserved in bars. That's difficult. It's hard to tell. But if something's happened and you leave your friends, you got to keep track of people. That's the most important thing for me.
Good advice. Retired FBI Special Agent Scott Augenbaum. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, taking some time, and sharing your expertise.
Thank you.
New tonight, Metro Council members coming together for a special dinner at Monell's at the Manor. The restaurant fighting to stay at the location on airport property off of Murfreesboro Road. But the airport has told them that they will not be renewing the restaurant's lease and saying that they will have to move out soon. Metro Council Russ Bradford trying to find a compromise.
Just an additional year that gives Mr. King and Monell's time to see if there's a way to move the building and save the building. That's just it. Like, give us another year so we can do that, and the airport's not budging.
Metro Council passed a non-binding resolution asking the airport board to preserve the historic home and allow the restaurant to stay. The airport has said the land is needed for necessary expansion plans.
Well, we continue to track the potential for a few strong thunderstorms as we head through the overnight hours tomorrow night. So we're talking overnight Thursday into early Friday morning. And this evening, already a very active night for folks in Missouri and Kansas. A tornado watch in yellow, and it's bookend here by 2 severe thunderstorm watches. We have severe thunderstorms with hail the size of softballs in some cases, and then a few tornado warnings to go along with it. Now we're going to be on the tail end of this severe threat as we head into the overnight hours and into early Friday morning. But time frame again, just so you can see when we're looking at the potential for a few strong thunderstorms, it's a little out of our usual time frame, which would be afternoon, evening. But we're looking at truly an overnight event, noon to about 4 a.m., 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., and 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. from west to east. And a lot of times, too, we can see overnight events, but truly 12 a.m. to 7 a.m. time frame, not as typical for us. So this will be one we really do want to make sure that we're paying attention to as we head into very early Friday. We'll talk more about how much rain you can see in the rain gauge with this event, that coming up in just a little bit. In your community, Cheekwood's annual flower show is now underway. We're talking about Cheekwood in bloom. Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Brett Luna gives you a look at this popular event.
We're out here at Cheekwood today, and this is a big time of year for them. They got an awesome event that is going on right now. And to tell us a little bit more about this, I've got Peter right here beside me. He's with Cheekwood. And Peter, when I first came in here, just looking at everything, it was beautiful. What exactly do y'all have going on right now here at Cheekwood?
You're looking at over 250,000 spring flowering bulbs, kind of anchored by the tulips and the hyacinths, which look great and smell great in the color garden here, and then surrounded by more bulbs in our permanent collections of daffodils, just trying to welcome in spring with all of our friends and neighbors.
Perfect. And how long did it take y'all to plant all these bulbs?
It takes a team of about 10 or 12 gardeners 6 weeks to plant the bulbs. Between the 1st of November, we try and wrap it up before the holidays.
Gotcha. And I know just a couple of nights ago here in Nashville, we dropped just below freezing. Did that light freeze have any effect on y'all's tulips?
No, the light frost isn't going to affect the bulbs of the tulips at Cheekwood, so come out and see them. They're not going to affect your bulbs at the house.
Awesome.
They'll droop a little bit in the morning when it's cold, and they don't enjoy it any more than we do, but then they'll spring right back up with the warmth and the summer.
Perfect.
And the sunlight.
All right, and just real quick too, if people want to get tickets to come out here and visit, how do they do that?
Always start online. Buy your tickets online, make reservations. Members need to make reservations. So cheekwood.org is the best and most consistent source of information.
All right, and last thing, how much longer is the tulip, park going to be going on? April, what'd you say?
Through Sunday, April 14th.
April 14th.
We're tracking warmer and earlier than we have in years past, so we're encouraging people to come out sooner than later. The daffodils are peak right now. This week can be a great time to come out and see all the daffodils, and then come out in the next 2-3 weeks for sure.
Perfect. Well, there you heard it, everybody. Come out this weekend, but if you can't make it out this weekend, you have until April the 14th to come out here and see all these blooms going on at Cheekwood right now. Reporting here in Cheekwood, Brett Luna, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, basketball madness starting a week early here in Nashville. We'll have a live report from the SEC tournament at Bridgestone Arena.
Some did it, some not, but all with big savings. Town and Country Ford in Madison.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
The SEC men's basketball tournament in full swing tonight downtown at Bridgestone Arena.
Vanderbilt Commodores facing Arkansas in the opening round, and it turned into an overtime thriller. Fox 17 sports director Jill Jelnick was at the game live now with what an exciting finish. Wow.
Scott, Megan, exciting finish might be an understatement. This was a game that came down to the very last second in regulation. Fifth-year senior for Vandy, Ezra Mignon, nailed the jumper at the buzzer beater to send the Doors into overtime. But ultimately, that's where Vanderbilt fell short to Arkansas and eventually fall 90-85, officially ending the Doors season. Let's go ahead and show you how it all went down at Bridgestone Arena tonight. Now, Vandy hasn't made the postseason. It's all the way back, takes the lead, and this is where it gets interesting. The Doors right here chime 90-85. Here's what Mignon had to say after the game.
Yeah, I mean, I knew my teammates were going to fight. We've been down in games before. We were just down in Florida. We came back and won. So, I knew the guys was going to fight, and we were going to put ourselves in position to win that game. And for me personally, like Coach Stack said, I just was playing it like it was my last basketball game ever. And so, just trying to leave it all out there,
Head coach Jerry Stackhouse was very proud of his team and especially congratulatory to Ezra Mignon, not only because he nailed the buzzer beater to send them into overtime, but because of all the effort he's put in with the Commodores in his time with the program. Coach Stackhouse getting very emotional in the post-game press conference later on, talking about his time with the team and also saying at the end of the day, they have not been able to get the results they want, and that's on him. He did mention that he will sit down with athletic director Candace Lee to talk more about this season and also his future with the program. We'll show you his reaction, that emotional reaction, coming up tonight at 10. But again, the Doors fall short as their season comes to an end with the 80-90-85 loss to Arkansas. Reporting live from Bridgestone Arena, Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Coming up, more on our strong thunderstorm threat as we head into early Friday morning. We'll take a look at how much rain we could end up in the rain gauge.
And what's billed as a natural way to get sleep may not work for your children. The concerns surrounding melatonin.
And the cost of illegal.
Some not, but all with big savings. Town and Country Ford in Madison.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Covering the Capitol, state lawmakers are considering a bill that would require district attorneys across our state to track how much money they spend prosecuting and securing illegal immigrants. Specifically, the sponsors interested in the cost associated with prosecution and housing illegals in county jails and Tennessee state prisons. The thinking is this information could be helpful if the state attorney general decides to sue Uncle Sam over the impact of an open border.
We know illegal immigration is not a victimless crime, and we're aiming to capture only a small portion of the number of illegal immigrants in this state. The DAs will create a report on charges and convictions.
This bill was approved in the House committee today, but it may be challenged moving forward. That's because it would cost $2.7 million a year to hire 33 people to do the work.
Well, many of you are still trying to adjust to the time change that happened this past weekend. And if you're using melatonin to get to sleep, health experts urge you to keep it out of children's hands. Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino explains why.
It's a popular supplement that can help you get those much needed Z's, but unsupervised ingestion of melatonin is sending more children to the emergency room, according to a new report.
A lot of melatonin is, flavored. It's either a gummy or a liquid. They make it to taste nice.
In that report, the CDC and U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission estimate that between 2019 and 2022, nearly 11,000 children younger than 5 years old visited the ER after ingesting melatonin without supervision. Now, more than half of those accidental ingestions involved children between the ages of 3 and 5 years old, and the majority of those visits did not involve additional medications. Dr. Jenna Wheeler with Orlando Health's Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children says melatonin should only be used as directed.
Even though it's sold, at your local grocery store or drugstore and it's easily accessible, there still are significant side effects, especially when used in amounts greater than recommended.
To keep kids safe, Wheeler says to educate your children that sleeping aids are not candy, and you should store melatonin out of reach of little hands and securely always fasten the top of that bottle.
Melatonin caps are not the safety caps that we think of with our prescription drugs, so it's even more important to keep those up.
Kelly Avellino, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Our severe weather threat continues as we head into tomorrow night and early Friday morning. Right now, I was just looking at an update, in fact. Right now, it still looks like this will be mainly an overnight event. Timing is still a little uncertain here. Some models are showing storms coming in a little earlier, let's say about this time tomorrow night, while others are showing well after midnight. So there's still a little uncertainty there, but it is looking more likely that we will have strong thunderstorms to contend with as we head through late tomorrow night. So one of the best things you can do is make sure that you are prepared. You have the Fox 17 Code Red weather app on your phone ready to go. Scan this QR code. It's a free tool on your phone. You have to have multiple ways to stay alert, especially if you're new to the area. Outdoor warning sirens are just that. Do not rely on outdoor warning sirens ever if you're indoors, especially if you are sleeping overnight. And we're expecting this to be an evening event for us here. So make sure you've got more than one way to stay alert. And one of the best tools to have is an alert on your phone, which is something we send to you when we do have those severe thunderstorms rolling through. Let's walk through tomorrow's timing. This is a look at 10 o'clock, our clock right up here. Nashville at 10 a.m. right around 65, 67 in Clarksville, and Murfreesboro right around 66. Notice the wind speeds here. This is in blue. Winds will be a tad breezy, about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Highs topping off in those upper 70s, close to 80 degrees as we head through the afternoon hours. But then as we get into the evening, you can see our storm chances are starting to increase. Small at first. This is at 7 o'clock in the evening. Then as we head later in the evening hours, starting with Clarksville, of course, this is coming in from the west. Those thunderstorms will start to increase after 9. And then notice as we head closer to midnight and afterward here in Nashville, we're starting to see that number increase as well. Up to 70% chance of thunderstorms by 11 p.m. in Clarksville, and Murfreesboro starting to see that number come up as well. And then overnight, we'll easily see showers and thunderstorms around. Temperatures staying pretty mild for us as well. Damaging wind still looks to be the primary threat for us here. Hail also possible. And the tornado threat, again, it's not zero. It is something we'll have to keep our eye on, but wind does continue to be the primary threat that we are watching as we head into the next several hours here. So we take a look at your 7-day forecast. You can see high of 80 degrees for tomorrow. Keep in mind our average high this time of year is in the low 60s, so this is well above average. We see 70 for Friday with those thunderstorms around in the morning. Pop-up storm possible on Saturday. Otherwise a nice day with a high of 68. And St. Patrick's Day on Sunday. Temperatures in the mid-60s with a partly cloudy sky.
Just ahead, a spike in demand for home mortgages. Why it could be short-lived.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
In consumer news tonight, if you'd like a little extra wiggle room on your next flight, you might be interested in new seating options from Frontier Airlines. The airline is launching what they're calling Upfront Plus tickets. They are only available for the first 2 rows of the plane, though. By booking one of these Upfront Plus option seats, passengers will be able to enjoy a window or an aisle seat with extra legroom and a guaranteed empty seat in the middle. Taking advantage of this perk will add $49 to your ticket cost.
In the economy, good news about mortgage rates. The Mortgage Bankers Association says the average for a 30-year fixed rate declined to 6.8%. As the average dropped, applications to purchase a home or refinance both went up. But with a hotter than expected inflation report in February, rates are poised to inch up again.
A surprising betrayal, the car makers who shared data about your driving with the insurance companies.
And an online word sensation cracking down on copycats, how Wordle is protecting itself.
Department. Make your tax refund go even further with up to 40% off. Plus, get up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
In your consumer news tonight, your car may be tattletelling on you to your insurance company. Drivers of cars made by General Motors, Honda, Ford, and several other brands say they noticed their insurance rates skyrocketing. Those car companies sent data about the car owners' driving habits to insurance companies without drivers even knowing. Some say that they noticed the price hikes after systems such as GM's OnStar computerized system was installed in their vehicles. The issue is currently being investigated.
And new tonight, the New York Times is cracking down on copycats of its popular word game Wordle. The newspaper filing copyright infraction notices to games that are similar to theirs. The New York Times bought the rights to the Wordle game back in 2022 after it went viral. The company says hundreds of games are illegally using the company's Wordle trademarks on their sites.
New study on your hearing that might surprise you. Could where you live influence how well you hear? I'm Liz Bonus. We'll share details just ahead.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
All right, we start with a code red weather alert involving potential severe storms that will be moving through our area around this time tomorrow night.
That's right. Fox 17 Chief Code Red meteorologist Katie Morgan here with the timing and the likelihood that we'll have some issues.
As we look ahead to tomorrow night, about 24 hours from now, we're expecting to see storms on the radar marching into Middle Tennessee. Now, question remains on the timing right now. This could change, so important to stay tuned with the latest forecast. Even tomorrow morning with meteorologist Greg Bobus. Friday 12 a.m. to 7 a.m. is the timing that I'm thinking right now. May move up a little bit, but overall damaging wind threat will be the main concern, along with some hail and maybe a tornado or two. It's not going to be the main threat, but possible we could find maybe one or two. Heavy rain will be something we keep our eye on as well. This is an overall bigger severe weather threat to our west as we head through Thursday afternoon and evening. We're right on the edge of it right here. But as we get into the evening hours, if the storm line comes in quicker in the evening, more so like 9, 10, 11 p.m., we may see a better chance of some stronger thunderstorms, especially along and west of I-65. For now, a level 1 threat with damaging wind that continues to be the primary concern. Things are quiet for this evening, and zooming out even more, the big story tonight have been the storms in Kansas and in Missouri that continue to fire up here along the warm front. This is the system that'll move in by tomorrow night, bringing us our threat for severe weather. We'll time it out for you coming up in your next Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
New tonight, a vigil in Missouri for the University of Missouri College student who disappeared Friday night shortly after leaving a downtown Nashville honky-tonk. Riley Strain is from Springfield, Missouri, and people who live there gathered tonight with candles in hand to pray for his safe return and share thoughts for his family. Strain was in Nashville for a fraternity formal at Luke Bryan's bar with friends. He'd had too much to drink, supposed to be headed back to their hotel near 8th and Broad. Security camera video caught him blocks away in the opposite direction, unsteady on his feet. To see all of our previous reporting on Riley Strain's disappearance, go to fox17.com and search Riley Strain. Earlier in the newscast, we told you about our X poll asking whether you worry about your safety when you're downtown on Broadway in Nashville. So far, 695 people are weighing in. 42% say yes, they do worry. 25.5% say no, and 32.4% say, I just don't go down there. Our thanks to all those who weighed in, and we'll have a new poll for you tomorrow.
It's just trash everywhere. You've got a guy living in a tent right there.
Tonight in the high cost of homelessness, upset neighbors walking through those neighborhoods. And Fox 17 News went to a North Nashville community where trash from nearby homeless encampments spilling into the streets. Brian Barbary brought those concerns to our news team over 2 months ago after failing to get a hold of city leaders. He says since that time, nothing has changed. If anything, it's gotten worse. Barbary has to look at piles and stacks of junk every day as he drives up and down Doverside Drive. And it's where Barbary spends many mornings cleaning up his neighborhood, but it never seems to last very long.
I pick up at least 2 bags of trash either every other day or at least 3 times a week. I picked up trash this morning, 2 bags. And now the area where I picked the trash up, there's more trash.
Fox 17 News reached out to the area council member, that's Jennifer Gamble, to ask if this is on her radar, both at the start of January, and we followed up again today, and so far we have not been able to get a hold of her.
New tonight, a bill that would prevent the state from requiring foster parents to take in children whose lifestyle or gender identity conflicts with the family's religious beliefs is moving forward. The sponsor says the bill offers protection for LGBTQ children as well as families. The idea is to ask questions on the front end to avoid problems that would result in a child having to be removed from a foster home because it's a bad fit.
Why are we giving the option for parents to want to adopt who are not going to welcome any and every child?
We're just trying to think of the best interest of the child and make sure that it's not placed in a home where it will not be accepted.
Experts say bad placements will increase runaways, suicide attempts, and also unfounded complaints against foster families.
Tonight, Tonight, a dinner held at Monell's at the Manor as many fight to save the restaurant. Metro Council members are joining Monell's to help keep the location on Murfreesboro Road near the airport. B&A, who owns the property, told them they will not be renewing the lease. Metro Council member Russ Bradford sharing why so many care about the cause.
The building itself may not be historical, but there's been a lot of history that's happened here. U.S. presidents have dined here, Hollywood stars have dined here, and so many community members have so many fond memories of weddings or family dinners or birthday celebrations here. So there's a lot of value to the community to have for this building.
Metro Council passed a non-binding resolution asking the airport board to preserve the historic home and allow the restaurant to stay. The airport says it needs the land for expansion.
Just ahead tonight on Fox 17 News at 10, the Commodores looking for a little March magic at the SEC tournament at Bridgestone Arena. We'll show you what happened in an overtime thriller with Arkansas.
And almost 2/3 of fourth graders in the U.S. struggle to read at grade level. That's why Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting.
You're in my spot.
The Big Bang Theory.
Tomorrow at 6 on Fox 17.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Home Buyers.
Well, the SEC men's basketball tournament in full swing tonight downtown at Bridgestone Arena.
I love this time of year, can't help but smile. Now, the Commodores facing Arkansas tonight. The opening round of the tournament turned into an overtime thriller. The Doors played Arkansas, the big building on Broadway, and Fox 17 sports director Jill Jellick was at the game and is here now with more on how it played out.
Scott, Megan, this one just an absolute beauty to open up the SEC men's basketball tournament this week. 13-seeded Vanderbilt taking on 12-seeded Arkansas, and this one came down to the wire. Vanderbilt fifth-year senior Ezra Mignon with a shot of his lifetime to send it in overtime, but ultimately the Doors would fall short and their season would end tonight. Let's show you how it all went down at Bridgestone Arena tonight. Arkansas was Doors and 46 seconds left. Vandy trailing. They got to make something happen.
At the end of the day, the results aren't there. So again, we'll sit down and we'll make that make those decisions and see where we go from here. But thankful for this one. If I'm here and able to continue on with it, I'm going to give it 100%. If not, I'm going to be thankful for every moment that I've been here and use all of the experiences that I've had, all the great people that I've worked with to try to help me in whatever situation I am going forward.
A very emotional head coach Jerry Stackhouse after the game. He said he was very proud of his players, proud of the competitiveness that they showed on the court tonight. But ultimately, like you heard him say, they fell short, well short of expectations. And at the end of the day, they're not getting the results they want. And the results is making the NCAA tournament. The Doors have not made the tournament since 2017. They have not made the NCAA tournament under head coach Jerry Stackhouse, and he fully takes that responsibility. He says he'll also meet with athletic director Candace Lee following this season and talk more about his future, the future with a very big question mark right now. In the end, Doors season comes to an end. They fall to Arkansas 90-85. The SEC men's basketball tournament will continue on this week with the Vols playing on Friday at 12 p.m. I'll have more on that game on Fox 17 News and Fox 17 Sports all this week. So be sure to stay right here for the latest on the SEC men's tournament. Reporting live from Bridgestone Arena, Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
The House just passed a bill that could mean the end of TikTok in the U.S. I'm Atra El-Nashar on Capitol Hill with why its future in the Senate isn't so certain.
Low MSRP on select 2023 Jeep brand vehicles. Hurry, don't miss this great offer.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Zander Insurance.
In politics tonight, the U.S. House of Representatives overwhelmingly passing a bill today requiring TikTok to change ownership or be banned here in the U.S.
Now, the company got some support from President Biden, but as Fox 17 News' Atra El-Nashar reports, this bill may not even make it to the president's desk.
Congress putting TikTok on notice.
The yeas are 352, the nays are 65.
In a rare showing of bipartisanship, the House passing legislation that would require TikTok to be spun off from China-based parent company ByteDance or be banned in the U.S.
TikTok is a threat to our national security because it is owned by ByteDance, which does the bidding of the Chinese Communist Party. We know this because ByteDance leadership says so, and because Chinese law requires it.
Our intention is for TikTok to continue to operate, but not under the control of the Chinese Communist Party.
The bill's odds look a lot different in the Senate. No firm commitment yet from Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to even bring it up for a vote.
I'll have to consult and intend to consult with my relevant committee chairman.
After the House vote Wednesday, the leaders of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner and Marco Rubio, announced joint support of the bill, saying they look forward to getting it passed through the Senate. Smooth passage is no guarantee. Some have constitutional concerns.
If the company is banned, or you say it can't have the current ownership and the company goes away, you're basically taking their First Amendment rights away with them also.
TikTok aggressively lobbying against the legislation, pointing to the 170 million Americans and millions of small businesses on the platform. Some senators refusing to meet with TikTok. Republican Tom Cotton of Arkansas says it's no better than meeting with Hamas or the Taliban. Even if ByteDance wanted to sell TikTok, China could use export controls to potentially block the sale of TikTok's algorithm. China's foreign ministry calls the legislation an act of bullying that will eventually backfire on the U.S. In this election year, Democrats recognize the political risk in associating the president with a ban on one of the most popular apps in America.
Cutting out a large group of young voters is not the best known strategy for re-election.
On Capitol Hill, I'm Atrel Najjar reporting.
Covering the Capitol tonight, bipartisan fears that the Senate and the fights over funding for the Department of Homeland Security could result in a government shutdown. The next deadline for the second set of spending bills to avoid that shutdown comes up later this month on the 22nd. It also includes some money for other government agencies. Both sides say it's likely to be a heavier lift this go round, though, because of the divides over President Biden's border policies.
Well, if we come together and actually solve problems that the people want us to do, yes, there is hope, and stop playing politics with it.
I am deeply concerned that we could see in the very near future a coordinated terrorist attack by elements that have been allowed into our country by this administration's policies.
Congressman Tom McClintock there echoing remarks from FBI Director Christopher Wray yesterday. To get the first spending package done, you may remember how Speaker Mike Johnson ignored the hardline conservatives on the right and relied on Democrats to get the votes he needed for passage. There is some hope he may go that route again.
3 things you need to know as we head into tomorrow night, that this does look to be an overnight event. Now, there's still a little bit of question as far as when the storms will arrive. There are some models showing that they could arrive a little bit earlier, but we will be looking at, for much of Middle Tennessee, for this to be overnight, as a lot of you are going to bed or sleeping. So make sure you have those ways to stay alert. Heavy rain possible, 1-2 inches, and damaging wind gusts continue to be the primary threat for us. The tornado threat's not zero, but it's not much higher than that. For the timing for now, it is looking like anywhere between 12 midnight and 4 a.m. in purple, 2 a.m. and to 6 a.m. in blue, and 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. in pink. And again, that timing can shift a little bit between now and tomorrow, so you want to make sure you're staying on top of the latest forecast here. For Thursday, ahead of all this, temperatures are looking quite warm, up to about 80 degrees for the afternoon, with a mainly sunny to partly cloudy sky. Winds a bit on the breezy side, too. We'll take you through the evening. This is Thursday night at 8 p.m. Our system coming in from the west and bringing along with it quite a bit of rain and some thunderstorms. A couple again could be on the strong side as we head through early Friday, but notice by midday most of the storms are gone and we're left with clearing skies as we head towards the weekend. A little bit closer to home, we'll walk you through timing For tomorrow, again, looking at mainly cloudy to partly cloudy skies early on, more clouds building in throughout the afternoon. Can't rule out a stray shower either through 3, 4, 5 p.m., but it won't be until about midnight that we're starting to track that line to our west, expected to push through as we head into the overnight hours. This would be the time frame that we're watching for those wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour. The potential for a spin-up tornado is there, but again, it's not the main threat for tomorrow night. We're not seeing as much ingredients there for tornadic activity as we are damaging wind threats and maybe even some hail for tomorrow. Friday, 5 a.m., you can see the line pushing through Middle Tennessee and most of Middle Tennessee, reaching the plateau. So truly, again, an overnight event for us. Then we'll find scattered showers, non-severe, as we head through the afternoon on Friday, beginning to dry out as we head into Friday night. How much rain are we looking at? Still possible that we could find 1 to 2 inches. That 2-inch range is going to be on the high side. But it'll just depend on where some of those heavy pockets do decide to set up for us as we head through the morning hours. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We go from 80 on Thursday to 70 on Friday, upper 60s Saturday and mid 60s Sunday, St. Patrick's Day. Next week, the beginning of spring officially on Tuesday. It's going to be a cold start to the day with temperatures around 30, so likely a frosty start to next week.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Pollen season is in full swing in South Carolina. There's so much of that yellowish greenish powder, even this alligator seems annoyed. And this guy was spotted yesterday in Florida. Black bears in Florida do not hibernate, but they will spend time in their dens between late December and late March. But even then, they spend less time and sleep less deeply than bears in colder climates.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
You can see more stories like this every weekday morning on the National Weather Desk. It starts at 8 a.m. on our sister station, MyTV 30.
The House continues to stall on a vote for national security spending as Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Today, jets. Better, because it has to be.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by the Nashville Preds.
Continuing coverage tonight as the leaders of several European nations are in Washington to talk about the war in Ukraine and the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Well, the focus of the visit is to convince the U.S. to send more money to fund the Ukraine military. As Alex Hogan reports, this message comes as Russia warns it's not afraid to start a nuclear war.
Be brave. Stand up to your leadership and tell them, let us vote.
Pressure mounting on House Republicans to pass a national security bill that includes funding for Ukraine.
If we do not provide Ukraine with what they need to defeat Putin, the legacy of Speaker Johnson and the 118th Congress will be the appeasement of a dictator.
It comes as Russian President Vladimir Putin warns Moscow is ready to use nuclear weapons if its sovereignty of independence is threatened. Putin saying he doesn't believe the world is heading toward a nuclear war, but is prepared for anything if fighting in Ukraine escalates. His remarks were delivered just days before an election where he is all but certain to secure another 6-year term.
The troops are constantly in a state of combat readiness.
The message also came as Europe's top diplomats met with Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Washington. European leaders telling Blinken the situation in Ukraine is one of their biggest security concerns.
We are facing an aggressive Russia who will not stop.
That echoes a similar message during a meeting between President Biden and visiting Polish leaders Tuesday, while the Pentagon has announced a new $300 million emergency aid package to provide Ukraine with weapons and ammunition. House Democrats and the Biden administration say that is not enough.
I think the clock is ticking, and we have to get the bipartisan national security bill over the finish line. It's reckless to do otherwise.
House Democrats have launched an effort to force a vote on Ukraine funding before Congress breaks for Easter recess next week. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
New study on your hearing that might surprise you. Could where you live influence how well you hear? I'm Liz Bonus. We'll share details just ahead.
A new report shows that huge areas of the country could soon essentially be blacked out. That's because of an overuse of America's electric grid. We're going to tell you what lawmakers are trying to do to prevent that from happening. That's Thursday on Fox 17 News this morning.
busting your budget, like a fresh cracked egg on a steamy bun or a crispy golden chicken breast on a flaky biscuit. Breakfast doesn't need to be bougie, just good. And served till 11 a.m.
And a Fox 17 News health alert: if you work in a restaurant or live in a rural area, your hearing may be at risk.
Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus tonight with more on the results of the sound check study.
Hey there, everybody. Jobs and geography may impact your hearing. This according to a new study which maps hearing loss by state and county across the U.S. What they found is quite surprising, especially about who's at risk.
Conversations. I couldn't hear conversations.
Judy Ash realized she was losing her hearing several decades ago.
I noticed that I was turning like the radio or the TV up a little louder.
This study found she's not alone. Those who work in noisy environments live in rural areas, and those as young as 35 are all now in high-risk categories for hearing loss.
Maybe 5 years ago it was 65 and up, and people getting hearing aids for the first time. Lately, over the past few years in my office, we've seen people in their 40s, maybe 30s.
Dr. Matthew Kist of Kentucky's Lund Hearing Care Associates is an audiologist.
What I think it is, I think it's just a bigger awareness of how hearing can impact the rest of your life.
This research is all part of what's called the Sound Check Project. It was recently published in the journal Lancet. Researchers found 1 in 7 people by age 35 have hearing loss. The occupations most associated with hearing loss are mining, retail, and restaurant working.
I think that just comes from long hours and continued exposure. And a lot of people don't realize that it doesn't have to be really, really loud noise, but if it's loud enough and if you're exposed to it for a long time, 8 hours plus, that can still do damage.
In the top 10 for hearing loss for states, West Virginia, Maine, and Kentucky. For cities, Oklahoma City, Rochester, New York, and San Antonio. As for what Judy noticed when she got the right hearing assistance,
I have great-grandchildren and grandchildren, and they speak very, kids speak low, and I've noticed that I heard them better.
Sounds, she says, that are priceless.
If you'd like to find out about hearing loss where you live, we have a link for more information online. In most cases, if you make an appointment with an audiologist, they will test your hearing at no charge. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
Well, check this out. A Girl Scout in Illinois taking on the ultimate challenge this cookie selling season. 12-year-old Bristol plans to sell 100,000 boxes of cookies by the end of the month.
Now, this young gal began her journey as a scout at the age of 5. She's been working now more than 40 hours a week, traveling from county to county with her mom, who also used to be a Girl Scout. And Bristol thinks she will hit that high mark either next Tuesday or Wednesday. That's crazy. Hats off.
Good luck to her.
Really?
Stop by Fox 17. I'm sure we'll
help you out. We are tracking some strong thunderstorms as we head into tomorrow night, early Friday. Stay tuned for any timing changes. There's still some uncertainty as to exactly when we'll see that line arrive. It may move up a little bit, so